It's been about, maybe 2 weeks almost since we've done a Boruto video, and for those of you that have been waiting and asking, don't worry. Boruto Chapter 52 has just hit the streets after 4 weeks of waiting to see the result of Naruto and Kurama's ultimate death form. Ishiki attacking the Hidden Leaf village after the epic battle with Kashin Koji was definitely inevitable after he was forced to reincarnate prematurely and revealed his true form before his next vessel was ready. As Kashin Koji successfully drew Ishiki out of the temporary host body of Jigen, simultaneously Kawaki's own karma seal which linked he and Ishiki disappears from the palm of his hand, erasing the files shared between the two. With the secret of how to get rid of the karma and how to kill an Otsutsuki revealed now thanks to Amato's plan, everyone prepares for the final battle. However, Boruto's karma, which still links him to Momoshiki, is a huge problem. As Ishiki arrives at the Leaf village during Amato's interrogation, Naruto immediately heads to the village entrance to stop him before he's killed anyone. As Naruto goes head to head with Ishiki, he's joined midway through the battle by not only Sasuke, but his son Boruto as well, who's committed himself to defending the village just as much as his father and teacher now. Sasuke and Boruto's surprise attack was enough to catch Ishiki off guard, and this resulted in Boruto using space-time ninjutsu granted by the Otsutsuki abilities to move the fight to a more desolate location. Even with all of them here, however, Ishiki is still not only able to one-shot Sasuke and knock him out of the battle momentarily, but Naruto and Karma are now forced to play their final hand. Kurama asks Naruto if he has any other bright ideas, but even though he answers no, Naruto is prepared to die to protect the village right here, as he says to Ishiki that he will have to pry his lifeless corpse off of him before he succeeds in his plan. This is when Kurama lets Naruto know that there may still be a way to defeat Ishiki here, but this is only possible because he's already come to terms with dying here, so it's worth a shot. As Ishiki prepares to finish the rest of the shinobi off, Naruto begins to undergo a mysterious transformation that changes his entire appearance as well. With a cloak of chakra and a transformed demeanor as well, this new power of Naruto's is far greater than both Sage Mode and Bijou Mode, as Kurama confirms to Naruto beforehand that if they do go through with this, Naruto will die. Naruto has basically made up his mind at this point, however, and sealed his fate, taking this final out by Kurama to ward off Ishiki, but will it even be enough at this point, regardless of this sacrifice that's slowly killing him with each passing second? If you guys want to check out the latest chapter of Boruto Naruto Next Generations, I personally recommend the Viz Media app to always help support official releases. Be sure to have those notifications turned on to never miss an anime upload as soon as they go live, guys. If you've been enjoying all of the anime content recently, consider leaving a like on this video as well. It really helps out a ton in helping the content reach more people, so I definitely appreciate it. Be sure to follow on both Twitch and Twitter to stay up with me and all anime related updates like this, guys. But without further ado, Naruto and Kurama's transformation completes as steam and the blazing hot will of fire singe the battlefield around he and Ishiki. Naruto looks at Ishiki with a determined, cold glare as Ishiki is taken aback by this absurd power increase. He questions just how could Naruto still have this much power up his sleeve, and why didn't he use something like this before? As Sasuke sits up, he notices this as well, commenting that Naruto never mentioned being able to do something like this. Such tremendous chakra, he says. What is this? Boruto can barely recognize his father before him now, as he's never seen him put his very life on the line to this extent before. As we move to Naruto's conscience, Kurama goes on to explain the properties of this new form, saying to think of it sort of like nuclear fusion. Kinda similar to how the sun produces energy, and for all of my science guys out there, you immediately know that that right there is bad news. Kurama explains that he and Naruto's chakra are pretty much serving as the kernels to produce an entirely new type of energy, and he keeps it about as simple as that, as to not confuse Naruto. Sounds simple enough, Naruto replies, but how is this any different from Kurama mode or Sage of Six Paths mode? Oh, it's different alright, Kurama reassures him, from the very root of it. The other modes involve taking chakra that you acquire from elsewhere and just by using it, but this is a totally different beast. As the raw materials to create this energy, my chakra and yours get consumed until Eventually, one or both of our lives run out. As Naruto still stares down Ishiki in the outside realm, these remarks from Kurama do little to change his mind on their decision. Listen, Kurama tells him, don't make any unnecessary moves in this form, and even rid yourself of superfluous thoughts. Kinda sounds pretty similar to another form from an MC we know in a different show. These are the tricks to keeping this Baryon mode activated for as long as possible, Kurama finishes, finally giving a name to this new transformation. As the dust continues to settle, neither Naruto or Ishiki take their eyes off the other, but it seems that Ishiki will make the first move as he tells Naruto, I don't quite care for that look in your eyes, and he charges forward at him. Naruto's calm and cool demeanor reminds me a lot of Goku or even Jiren right now, as when Ishiki approaches him, he barely moves an inch and is able to knock Ishiki to the ground, elbowing him in the back of the neck. Even Sasuke is shocked that Naruto was able to easily knock him down like that, as Ishiki hurries to his feet and charges at Naruto again. This time, Naruto easily evades this onslaught, moving far too fast for Ishiki to manage, as we see him getting agitated at Naruto's high-speed movement. As he wishes, Naruto delivers a devastating backhand to Ishiki, sending him flying once again. As Ishiki gets back to his feet once more, Sasuke is stunned to see that these two seem to be even, or no. Naruto is actually winning, he says. This is when Ishiki shows off his dojutsu again, as he focuses around the area behind Naruto, creating around a half dozen or so giant cubes around him. As he releases the technique, the cubes fall all around Naruto, but he is able to use the tails created from Kurama's chakra to catch them before he's crushed. Ishiki is once again at a loss as the debris knocks Boruto out, but Sasuke is able to move him to safety in time before he's crushed. Naruto then uses the cube that he caught on his back and hurls it at Ishiki, who narrowly dodges it by jumping into the air. But Naruto is right above him as soon as he looks up, and with a crushing kick to the back, he sends Ishiki soaring back into the ground as Boruto and Sasuke look on. As Naruto returns to the ground, Ishiki, enraged now, charges at him again, visibly agitated with not being able to do anything, as Naruto maintains his calm attitude. The two continue to go back and forth in a pretty epic clash that reminds me a lot of the Momoshiki fight, where those three were just going absolutely ham on each other, but this exchange seems a lot more one-sided, with Naruto being at a clear advantage. With another kick, Naruto sends Ishiki flying again as his opponent grows more and more desperate. Ishiki turns around and fires something microscopic at Naruto, who, without it even being able to be seen by Sasuke's eyes, catches the chakra rods that were fired at him. Unbelievable, Sasuke exclaims. He stopped those high-speed rods when I'm barely even able to track them with my Sharingan. No way, Ishiki says angrily. Impossible. How did he power up so drastically and so fast? However, little does he know the ramifications of using such an overwhelming amount of strength. Back in the Leaf Village, Kawaki, Yamato, and the others remain far from the battlefield to keep Kawaki away from Ishiki, and this is when Yamato takes notice of the prosthetic arm Kawaki has now. That thing runs on chakra, right? He asks. You're lucky. It's usually pretty hard to find a compatible match for you. Tonyo then cuts in, saying that that arm was originally created for Lord 7th, so it only responds to his chakra. Lord 7th has been sharing his chakra with Kawaki non-stop so that the hand functions at all times. He's essentially constantly needing chakra. All of a sudden, Kawaki's arm begins to resonate with chakra on and off as everyone becomes alarmed. Shikamaru demands to know what's going on as Kawaki then realizes that something is going on with Lord 7's chakra. It's weakening, he says nervously. As we cut back to the battlefield, we finally begin to see the effects of this nuclear fusion on Naruto's body as he falls to a knee and starts to tremble. Both Sasuke and Ishiki take note of this as well, with Sasuke also stating that Naruto's chakra is dropping rapidly as well. Boruto attempts to get to his feet, but his body is overwhelmed with pain from Ishiki's last attacks as he struggles to stay awake, but in the end, he falls unconscious before he could save his father. As Naruto begins to struggle breathing, he says that this energy cost is much steeper than he expected. I don't think I have much time left, he says, but this lapse in power won't go unaccounted for by Ishiki. That rapid jump in your abilities and power, he says, was a life-shortening gamble, wasn't it? Well, sorry. It looks like you've lost your bet, Naruto Uzumaki. Sasuke panics as Ishiki approaches Naruto, however, all of a sudden, he freezes as a throbbing pain takes him over and he begins coughing up blood for some reason. This is when Ishiki, weakened now, falls to his knee as well as he tries to figure out just what's happening to him, but Naruto begins to smirk. I'm spitting out blood, he thinks to himself. Impossible. When had I taken this amount of damage? He whips around angrily to Naruto, demanding to know what he's done to him, but Naruto simply replies that now the game has truly begun, of which one of them will die first. Ishiki tries to push forward and use his jutsu against Naruto, but something strange has happened to his body now as he shows an immediate expression of panic after realizing exactly what's going on. This is when we're taken back to a conversation between Naruto and Kurama, as Kurama goes on to tell Naruto that while this power should definitely exceed Ishiki's, they still won't be able to win against him here because the drawbacks are too great and they'll just end up dying before he does. Well, that would be the case normally, Kurama continues. Our circumstances here, however, are much different, and that's why I chose this method instead. The key, he goes on, is that this entire technique shortens both of our lives. Because our chakra is connected, this same power that comes into being from bits of our lives also shaves off his life when it comes into contact with him. Ishiki has now noticed this as well, as he notices his lifespan should be well over 20 hours right now. However, now it's been shortened to less than 30 minutes by whatever technique Naruto has put on him. The entire time, Kurama coaches Naruto, reminding him that their goal isn't to take down Ishiki here, even if they may die. Their goal is to land as many attacks as possible, treating this like a boxer trying to win by decision rather than the big knockout. Shave off the rest of his life, Naruto, before hours runs out, he says, as Naruto puts everything he has into this barrage at Ishiki, with the two clashing like lifelong rivals. The two continue to go back and forth with each other, with each of them getting that much weaker with every successful blow, until Naruto is finally able to force Ishiki to the ground, ensuring his advantage. This is when Ishiki finally realizes that the power behind Naruto's attacks was never the issue to begin with. Getting hit period has been the real problem, but he's realized it a bit too late with Naruto pummeling him into the dirt. Naruto's chakra is getting lower and lower, Sasuke says. Don't tell me he plans to... But this is when Ishiki is finally able to overpower a weakened Naruto, grabbing him by the neck and slamming him to the ground. Ishiki notices that his lifespan has shrunken even more and begins to panic, now being below 10 minutes, as he says he needs to prepare Kawaki now. It's far too late, Naruto says, mocking him. Ishiki begins choking him even more as they both cling to the last shred of life they have left, but this is when Ishiki notices a strange current within Naruto's chakra. Ishiki begins laughing maniacally to the surprise of Naruto and Sasuke as he releases one hand from Naruto and extends it to his side. Seems like the last one standing will be the Otsutsuki after all, he declares, not you lesser species. All of a sudden, back in the interrogation room, Kawaki begins to tremble, feeling the effects of both of the fighters he's linked to on the battlefield, but this is when a strange jutsu begins to appear around his prosthetic arm. The space-time ninjutsu portal opens up in the middle of the room between them all and consumes Kawaki before Shikamaru and the others can react. Kawaki now finds himself on the battlefield with Naruto, Sasuke, Boruto, and Ishiki after being located thanks to Naruto's chakra link with his prosthetic arm. I am beyond grateful to you, Hokage, Ishiki says. Thanks to you, I was able to drag out Kawaki at the very last minute. With Naruto on the verge of death from his own chakra depletion and Ishiki still far too powerful, things are looking to be at a near end for Naruto and Sasuke as Ishiki is moments away from reincarnating within Kawaki, but across the battlefield, an unconscious Boruto opens his eyes suddenly. Under the duress of this life and death battle with Otsutsuki and seeing his father and teacher give up their lives like this in front of him has awakened something sinister within Boruto as when he blinks and the chapter comes to a close, the pure white eye of Boruto's Jougan has been unleashed once again.